Back to Hill Studios, and in the previous tutorial what we have learned is like displaying timer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to apply an animation montage on the top portion of the body. Like we have an okay, let me get started. Go to Epic Game Store and you have animation starter pack. It contains so many rifle animations and rifle holding animations. Download it, and you're going to find an animation called idle rifle. So make a montage out of it. So make the idle rifle montage. Hope you guys are getting it. Then what you need to do is it will be initially in the default slot. Click on the slot and go to slot manager. And once you go to the slot manager, create a new slot called upper body and assign this slot to the upper body. Okay. Why we are doing this? Because we only have the idle animation, we don't have walking animation. So what we are doing is essentially for our character, this top, we are copying the top portion and we are neglecting the bottom portion. I hope you guys are getting it. So go to your third person animation blueprint. I hope you guys know how to use animation blueprints. If not, see some tutorials. This is the default pose, right? Everything like movement including everything. And this is a slot, default slot, and go to the default one and pass the values to default slot and save it in a pose. How to get it is pretty simple. Use cached pose, something like that, and it's going to get saved. No, means save, new save cached pose, and you're going to get this pose. Take that pose and take the same pose and pass the values to upper body slot. What is upper body slot? Whatever animations that we want for the upper body to happen, we will add those montages into upper body slot. So what happens is that whenever we are playing this montage, it will go to here. Now what happens? Now we are blending layer blend per bone. What it's going to do is click on this one and this layer setup, layer one, and go to branch filters and go to bone name and add spine underscore 01. So add that particular bone name and depth is 0. You can leave it like that. And I will also post a good video in description to just kind of helping you guys. And keep the blend weights to 1.0. So now what happens is that, so this is the base pose and it will run every time. If we play any animation montages in upper body slot, this one is going to play. I hope you guys are getting it. So yeah, we are using spine underscore 01 because we want these poses to affect only bones above spine one. So that's the reason why we are doing it. And once we do that, save it to output pose. And once we do everything, it's going to work fine. You now have the movement animation and you also have the rifle holding animation. So what is the steps? Remember it. Download animation starter pack and go to idle rifle hip and create animation montage out of it. And if you are not able to find skeleton, assign the mannequin skeleton. You're going to do that as well. If you have any doubts, post in the comment section. And once you have idle rifle montage, create a new go click on here, go to slot manager, create a new slot called upper body and add this thing to upper body slot and go to animation blueprint. Initially animation blueprint initially has default connected to this one. Break them up and create use like type this thing slot default slot and connect this thing to default slot and save it in a pose. And also get this thing here and create a node called layer blend per bone. Pass this one to the base pose. That is the base, right? And use the same thing, use the same saved pose here and click on here, and in the right side you can see slot name, change it to upper body slot and pass the same values to here and pass it to blend poses. So where do you think this blend pose should happen? Above spine one, right? So we're going to click here and we're going to set the bone name to spine one and then you're going to pass the particular values to output pose, and that's it. That's how the rifle holding animations and movement is being applied. So once we're done, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to we're going to introduce touch input because there is no touch input until now. So that is add touch input. So I completed the rifle holding animation, and tomorrow we might get into the guns. Now I am thinking of getting into touch input because that is something extremely important. So go to input and always show touch interface and use mouse for touch. And so now what we're going to do? Now it's pretty simple. Let us go to our player UI. So if you consider, if you look at, wait, what? Okay, wait, I got it. If you look at PUBG Mobile, something like that, you can only control the player direction on only half of the screen, right? So that's what we're going to do. Uh, take an image, something like this. Take an image. Okay, I'm going to add this thing in such a way that you can control only like one half of the screen. One half of the screen you can swipe. On the other half you cannot. Even though you swipe, nothing is going to happen. So this is the image, guys, and if you touch inside the image, it's going to work it out. So what initially you need to keep the Z order to negative so that it will be layered bottom, and go to color and opacity and change the alpha to 0 so that you're not going to see this thing. Now what we're going to do, pretty simple. Whenever you touch this thing, you can have a bind function. We can create a bind. What we're going to do is we're going to create a boolean variable on touched. So, TOU on touch, and we're going to set on touch to true. That's it. And wait, touch start position, and we're going to get it to vector 2D because it is a 2D screen, right? So we're going to get vector 2D, and we're going to set the value. My mouse event get screen space position, and we're going to get it here. We're going to keep it here. So yeah, like whenever you press on that one, on touch it will be true, and touch screen position will be set to this one. Now what? Go to your functions, and there are some override functions, and click for on touch mode. And once when the touch is moved, this function is going to get executed. What you can do is like now when we get a touch movement, we're going to check if touch is moved or not. If touch is moved, we're going to get screen space. Oh, sorry, touch event, get screen space position, and we are subtracting it from touch start position, and we are going to get the magnitude here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our player character and pitch input, add controller pitch, and add controller yaw input, right? So what we're doing is we are, oh shit, okay. Now what we are doing is initially what we are doing is when we press on the image, we're going to get the screen space position, and when we're moving it, we're going to get how much magnitude we are moving, and we are just changing the controller based on the magnitude. So we're going to put it here and put it here, and yeah, if we on touch mode, got it. Now after this thing, we also need to update this touch start position. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to get here, get screen space position, and I'm setting it to touch start position. I hope you guys are getting it. Now let us try to check if it is working or not correctly. So I'm going to go to a print string, and I'm going to print x in it. So let us see what happens. See, you can just see. Okay, what just happened? Okay, so in order to get the better understanding of where our cursor is, go to your TDM PC and show mouse cursor, enable it. And now let us see again what is happening. So okay, maybe I think we have to reverse them. So this one is for yeah, and this one is for pitch. Let us see. Okay, I think one thing that we can do is like I'm going to play only one, has only listen server. Uh, okay, so and okay, so once we have this thing, once we have on touch, let us go to on touch ended. Once we ended the touch, we have to set our on touch to false again, and we have to set touch position to something like 0 0, so that we can have 0 magnitude. And yeah, so now let us see how it works now. You can just see the touch is working right now, but it is like too much. How are we going to solve it? On touch mode, uh, add controller pitch input and add controller. Okay, wait, what is it? Okay, reply something like that. Make event reply. Let us see. We got the screen space and we are subtracting it, and I think we are getting too much. So one thing that we can do is we can just divide them, okay, by some parameters. Okay, let us divide them. Wait, I think once we subtracted them, let me take a look at it. Wait, recombine this thing and we can normalize them, and then we can have y here and x here. Let us see if it works or not. Normalizing is a process of changing values from some random values to 0 to 1, so that it will be like, yeah, it's going to be in a particular range. So now the values are pretty low. Now we're going to multiply them, float into float, and this one is as well float into float. I think the general values that I use are something like 12. So we're going to use 12 and see how it works. Event reply. Copy it again and bring it here. Now if you look at it, it is too much, right? It is too much. So we can kind of make it around like 6. Okay, so whenever we are touching is jumping because there is a code inside our blueprints. So whenever I touch, you should jump. So let us remove that one as well. So where is that? Here is it. So remove this thing completely, so that it will be much more useful for us. So let us. Okay, why it is happening is because of this one. We have to set the anchors of our image so that it will always stay in this position only. Now we can see like he is moving perfectly fine. Now we can see, right? Now we can see like this. The it is working. The touch screen is not working perfectly, but I will perfect it in the next video. I hope you guys enjoy this particular episode. If you guys like it, subscribe and share the video. And yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Lot of editing work.